Hi there, welcome back to Animation Teacher. Today we're going to do a big project. It's going to be a breakout character. We're basically going to build Franco in Harmony. The first thing you want to do is import your image. I've created a PNG image from Photoshop. You can also bring in a PSD file. I chose a PNG. Here it is. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the Franco layer. If you already have colors to your build, I suggest you create a color palette. And what you want to do is basically create new swatches below here by hitting this plus button. And I'm going to name every color accordingly. We'll start with the skin tones. Now you can name the color inside the preference boxes, or you can just double click on the outside like so. Alright, let's speed this up. I'm basically going to color pick everything that you see here and adjust the colors as needed. Now what you'll want to do is you want to actually name your character or your prop or whatever it is first before you assign the color. So instead of doing what I'm doing, it should actually be Franco underscore shoe base or Franco underscore shirt, so forth. The reason is if you have a pupil color and you go Franco, or if you just went pupil, then you bring in another character that also has a pupil, it's harder to track. So just to keep things organized, have your name character first and then the object. So the next thing we'll do is create a breakout drawing, which is basically just a cleanup of Franco here. So what you want to do is ensure every symbol that you create is set to separate and set to parent peg. Also, I'm going to give it a peg. Okay, so there are several ways to clean up. As always, I like to use my square box and then my subselection tool to um, transform and distort and create art from a square box. Again, the advantages of using a square box is it allows your fills um, to actually fill without having to worry about any broken lines. It also allows the nodes or the what are they called? The points to be minimal. What you want to do whenever you cross lines, you'll have to flatten it. So you can use this button here. Okay, I'm going to speed this up a little bit. You guys seen me clean up several times before. It's the same process. So the next thing I'm going to do is flip this head horizontally to ensure that it's symmetrical on both sides. Then I'll go ahead and flatten both sides together and go in and clean up the extra points. I always like to have a clean character build. Okay. So what you can do, if you draw everything in one instance, what you can do is group them to ensure that you don't accidentally cross paths with other parts of your bodies. So the next thing I'll do are the eyes. We'll start with the left one here, or his right. And remember, we also have the pencil editor. So if you wanted to give it a little bit of line thickness, you can do that too. And I'll do the same for the eyebrows. If you want to create a point, just click Control, hold Control and click on the mouse. So with the pencil editor tool, you can adjust the top or bottom points to control the thickness of the line. And we'll do the nose. So like the head, I'm going to just ensure both sides are symmetrical by copy and pasting and flipping it. And then I'll put these two together just to keep it symmetrical, and then I'll flatten it and clean it up. And let's do the mouth. And let's give it some line weight on each side of the chin. Next thing we'll do is I'm going to copy and paste the eyes just to keep it symmetrical. And we'll realign everything just to try to keep it as center as we can. Okay, I'm going to group the eyes just in case I draw over it. I'll group the mouth and the nose together, and you can ungroup it just as easily. The next thing we'll do is the hair. Okay, so we're watching this in high speed, but basically if you want to create new points, again, you're holding down Control and clicking the mouse, and if you want to control the Bezier curves, you're holding down Alt and dragging the Bezier curves. Alright, let's do the neck. Now, as I draw through this, the head isn't affected because I've already created a group for it, so it keeps it protected. You can group the neck as well, and then we'll move on. We'll move on to the arms next. So, like Flash, when you're drawing arms or legs, you want to draw through the object because you want to ensure your rotation points will be maximized when you actually rotate your arms or legs. Okay, so I'll group that, and let's do the forearm here. And the hand. Okay, let's move on to the shirt. Alright, next I'm going to duplicate the arms so it's symmetrical on both sides. And we'll move on to the pants. It also has the same color as the shirt, green outline, so I'll use that. So one of the hardest things to do using this technique is to cross paths to create new intersections. But basically all you're doing is dragging one point too far ahead and it'll cross path with the other, creating a new point. It's a little bit of practice, but once you get it, it's pretty easy. Okay, so I'm duplicating my pants and flipping it over, and we'll do some cleanup. Okay, so let's do the legs next. Okay, so the next thing we're going to move on to are the shoes. Now, the shoes has a lot of details, so this might take a while. But basically, it's the same sort of principle. What I'm doing here is creating outlines for everything that I need and making sure that they're not affecting the other outlines because we're going to need to fill this. Okay, so the first shoe is done. I'm going to flip it over, duplicate, and paste it over to the other shoe here. So now that I have a full cleanup rig, this is basically Franco cleaned up in line art. Alright, looks like I forgot to do the pupils, so let's just do that real quick. Here's the left one. Here's the right one. And we'll bring that to the front. So this is pretty much the build, all cleaned up. This is the first part of it. There's what that looks like. So we'll save this file and we'll move on to the next stage, which is to color. And there it is. I'm just going to rename this Franco build breakout. It's basically just a cleanup version of it, and it requires cleanup at this point, or it requires coloring at this point. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.